Okay friends, now let us study digestive glands. See here, there are 5 digestive glands are there. What are those? First one is salivary glands, which are present in mouth cavity. Second one is gastric glands, which are present in stomach. And third one is intestinal glands, which are present in small intestine. Okay, and fourth one is liver, and fifth one is pancreas. These are the 5 types of glands associated with digestive system of man. What is their function? Their function is to secrete juices, and those juices are containing many enzymes. With the help of those enzymes, the food is going to be digested. Okay, now let us study salivary glands means what? What they are going to secrete, and what those juices are called, and what those juices are containing. That we are going to study in this class. Okay, see here, first we will discuss about salivary glands. Okay, first we will discuss about salivary glands. See here, salivary glands. Okay, see here, salivary glands means what? These are the digestive glands which are present in mouth cavity. ಬಾಯಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇರತಕ್ಕಂತ ಡೈಜೆಸ್ಟಿವ್ ಗ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಸ್ ಗಳಿಗೆ ನಾವೇನಂತ ಕರೀತೇವೆ? salivary glands ಅಂತ ಕರೀತೇವೆ. Actually, there are 3 pairs of salivary glands are present in the mouth cavity. Salivary glands ಎಷ್ಟು ಇದಾವ? 3 ಜೋಡಿ ಅದಾವ. ಯಾವ್ಯಾವು? First one is parotid glands, and second pair is sublingual glands, and third one is submaxillary glands, Getting the idea? These are the 3 pairs of salivary glands that are present in mouth cavity. Now the question is, parotid glands are present where? Okay, the parotid glands are present in front of the ears, ನೋಡಿ, ಏನು ಕಿವಿ ಇದಾವಲ್ಲ, ಈ ಕಿವಿ ಮುಂದ್ಗಡೆ ಇಲ್ಲೊಂದೈತಿ, ಈ ಕಿವಿ ಮುಂದ್ಗಡೆ ಇಲ್ಲೊಂದೈತಿ, ಒಳಗಡೆ ಇಲ್ಲೊಂದು ಅವು ಪ್ಯಾರೋಟಿಡ್ ಗ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರ ಪ್ಯಾರೋಟಿಡ್ ಗ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಸ್. These are the salivary glands which are present in front of ears, ಕಿವಿಗಳ ಮುಂದ್ಗಡೆ. And sublingual glands are present below the tongue. ನೋಡ್ರಿ, ನಾಲ್ಗೆಯ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ 2 ಪೇರ್ salivary glands ಇದಾವೆ. 2 salivary glands ಇದಾವೆ, 1 ಪೇರ್ salivary gland ಇದಾವೆ. ಅವು sublingual glands ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. Submaxillary glands present at the angle of jaws. ಏನು angle of jaws ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನೋಡಿ, ಇವು ದವಡೆಗಳು ಜಾಸ್, ಇಲ್ಲೊಂದು ಆಂಗಲ್ ಇದೆ, ಹೌದಾ? ಇಲ್ಲೊಂದು, ಓಕೆ, ಇಲ್ಲೊಂದು at the angle of the ದವಡೆಗಳು, at the angle of the jaws, ಇಲ್ಲೊಂದು ಐತಿ. That pair of salivary glands are called what? Submaxillary glands ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. In this way, there are 3 pairs of salivary glands. One pair is called parotid, sublingual and submaxillary. Parotid glands are present in front of the ears. Sublingual glands are present below the tongue. Submaxillary glands are present at the below the jaws. And all these three types of glands, all these three pairs of glands are going to secrete a juice, and that juice is known as salivary juice, ಅಥವಾ simply saliva. ಇವು ಮೂರು ಗ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಗಳು ಸೇರಿ, ಈ ಮೂರು ಪೇರ್ಸ್ ಸೇರಿ, ಈ ಮೂರು ಜೋಡಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾವ, ಒಂದು ರಸವನ್ನು ಉತ್ಪತ್ತಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾವ. That juice, that rasa is called what? Saliva, salivary juice. And the combined secretion of these three pairs of glands is known as saliva. The combined secretion of these three pairs of glands, is known as saliva ಅಥವಾ salivary juice ಅಂತ ಕರೀತೀವಿ. Now the question is, what saliva contains? Salivary juice ಏನೇನಿದೆ? That is composition of saliva. Composition of saliva. Saliva ಒಳಗೆ ಏನೇನು ಇರ್ತದೆ, that we are going to study. This is very important for your exam. What the saliva actually contains? See here, the pH of saliva is what? The pH of saliva is 6.8 to 7.2. This is the pH of saliva. It is slightly acidic and slightly basic. Okay, and what it contains? It contains 95 to 98% of water. See, saliva contains 95 to 98% of water is that, and it contains some inorganic compounds. Inorganic compounds. And it contains inorganic compounds as the ions of sodium, Cl minor, and HCO3 minus. Getting there? And also it contains some organic compounds. Getting there? And what are those organic compounds? First one is mucus. Mucus is an organic compound found in the saliva. I have already told you what is the mucus. Mucus is made up of lipids. That is the area. And also it contains some enzymes. What is that enzyme? Salivary amylase. Salivary amylase. It is an enzyme found in the saliva. What is its function? This salivary amylase acts on the polysaccharides and convert them into disaccharides. Act on starch and glycogen and convert them into maltose, sucrose, lactose. This is the function of salivary amylase. And also the saliva contains one antibacterial enzyme. One antibacterial enzyme is that. Its name is lysozyme. What is that? Lysozyme. Lysozyme, it is the name of the antibacterial enzyme found in the saliva. What is its function? Lysozyme acts on the pathogens, acts on the bacteria, harmful bacteria present in food and kill them. This is the composition of saliva. Getting the idea? There is a composition of saliva 2 to 3 mass in 100% 2 to 3 mass. Is going to be awesome. Write the composition of saliva. Saliva contains 95 to 98% of water and contains some inorganic compounds of sodium, Cl-, Sp2-, and some organic compounds like mucus, enzymes, and antibacterial enzymes. Name the carbohydrate digesting enzyme to the found in saliva. It is a salivary amylase. It is a carbohydrate digesting enzyme. What is its function? It acts on the polysaccharides like starch and glycogen and convert them into disaccharides. That is maltose, sucrose, lactose. Getting the idea? And also the saliva contains one antibacterial enzyme. Its name is lysozyme. Getting the idea? Yes, sir. Now this is about salivary glands. Okay? And one more thing you should remember. If you understand the glands are secreting what type of juices and what the juices are contained. If you understand this clearly, then definitely you can understand how actually the food is digested. Okay? Now the next gland is what? The next gland is what? Okay? Pause button. Stop. Okay. Okay, students, now the second gland is gastric glands. See here, second one is gastric glands. See here, what do you mean by gastric glands? Gastric glands are the these are also digestive glands which are present inside the stomach. Okay, these are also digestive glands which are present inside the stomach. Okay, and these gastric glands are made up of 3 types of cells. ಈ gastric glands ಗಳು 3 ರೀತಿಯ ಸೆಲ್ಗಳಿಂದ ಮಾಡಲ್ಪಟ್ಟವು. ಯಾವ್ಯಾವು? See, gastric glands are made up of 3 types of cells. They are chief cells and parietal cells. And third one is mucus cells. See, the gastric glands which are present inside the stomach, they are made up of 3 types of cells. ಒಂದೊಂದು gastric gland stomach ದಲ್ಲಿ small tube like structures ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದೆ. gastric juice ಅನ್ನು secrete ಮಾಡ್ತವೆ. ಒಂದೊಂದು gastric gland 3 ರೀತಿಯ ಸೆಲ್ಗಳಿಂದ ಮಾಡಲ್ಪಟ್ಟವ. ಅವು ಯಾವ್ಯಾವು? chief cells, parietal cells, mucus cells. chief cells ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾವ? chief cells secrete enzymes. ನೋಡಿ, chief cells ಕಿಣ್ವಗಳನ್ನು ಉತ್ಪತ್ತಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾವ. ಯಾವ್ಯಾವು? pepsin and renin. These are the 2 types of proteins which are released by the chief cells. Okay? These are 2 types of enzymes, proteins. These are the pepsin and renin. These are the 2 types of enzymes which are released by the chief cells of the gastric glands. And parietal cells secrete HCl, and mucus cells secrete mucus. In this way, each gastric gland found in the stomach are made up of 3 types of cells. They are chief cells which secrete pepsin and renin enzymes, parietal cells which secrete HCl, and mucus cells which secrete the mucus. Okay. Now, one more thing you should remember. These three types of cells secrete a juice, and those juices are contained in these components. The combined secretion of these three types of cells is known as gastric juice. The combined secretion of these three types of cells is known as gastric juice. Gastric juice. Getting the idea? Now, see here, composition of gastric juice. What is the composition of gastric juice? Composition of gastric juice. Composition of gastric juice. What actually the gastric juice contains? See here, gastric juice contains water. See here, gastric juice only water. Gastric juice contains two protein digesting enzymes, also called proteases. Proteases ಅಂದ್ರೆ protein ಅನ್ನು digest ಮಾಡತಕ್ಕಂತ ಕಿಣ್ವಗಳು. Gastric juice contains two proteases. They are pepsin and renin. And one more thing you should remember here. Pepsin is always produced in its inactive form. That is called what? Pepsinogen. When the pepsin is in inactive form, it is called pepsinogen. Okay? When the renin is in inactive form, then it is called prorenin. Okay? And this inactive pepsinogen and inactive prorenin gets converted into active pepsin and active renin by the action of HCl found in the gastric juice. That is the idea. And also, third component is HCl. Getting the idea? With the help of HCl already found in the gastric juice, inactive pepsinogen and inactive prorenin gets converted into active pepsin and active renin. When these pepsin and renin are released, what happens? This pepsin and renin acts on the milk protein and convert them into peptones and peptides. I had in the previous class. Nodri, if pepsin ಮತ್ತು renin active ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಇವು active inactive ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಇದಕ್ಕೆ pepsinogen ಅಂತ ಕರೀತೀವಿ. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ prorenin ಅಂತ ಕರೀತೀವಿ. HCl ದಿಂದ active ಆದಾಗ pepsin ಮತ್ತು renin ಅಂತ ಕರೀತೀವಿ. ಯಾವಾಗ ಆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಆಗ್ತಾವಲ್ಲ, this pepsin and renin act on the protein ಮೇಲೆ ಆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅವನ್ನ ಪೆಪ್ಟೋನ್ಸ್ ಮತ್ತು ಪೆಪ್ಟೈಡ್ಸ್ ಗಳನ್ನಾಗಿ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತದ. ಹೇಳಿದೆ ಪೆಪ್ಟೋನ್ಸ್ ಪೆಪ್ಟೈಡ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ನೋಡಿದ್ರಿ ಹೌದಾ? ಹಾಗಾದ್ರೆ this pepsin and renin acts on the proteins and convert them into peptones and peptides. ಪೂರ್ತಿ ಅಮೈನೋ ಆಸಿಡ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಓನ್ಲಿ ಪೆಪ್ಟೋನ್ಸ್ ಮತ್ತು ಪೆಪ್ಟೈಡ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಪಾರ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಡೈಜೆಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ರೋಟೀನ್ಸ್ ಟೇಕ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಇನ್ಸೈಡ್ ದ ಸ್ಟಮಕ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಹೌದಾ? ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಪೆಪ್ಸಿನ್ ಅಂಡ್ renin. ಆಮೇಲೆ HCl ಏನೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತದೆ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ. HCl ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ಸ್ inactive pepsinogen into active pepsin, inactive prorenin into active renin. Only. And also, ಇದು one function ಆಯ್ತು. ಓಕೆ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ HCl kills harmful microorganisms found in the food. ಎರಡು ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್. ಮೂರನೇದು HCl loosens the fibrous food particles. ಆಹಾರ ಪದಾರ್ಥವನ್ನ ಸಡಿಲಗೊಳಿಸ್ತದ HCl. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ HCl ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತದ? ಇಟ್ ಬ್ರಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ curdling of milk inside the stomach. ಮಿಲ್ಕ್ ನೀವು ಕುಡಿತಿಲ್ಲ, ಕೊಡುವಾಗ ಇದು HCl ಮಾಡ್ತದ. This is the functions performed by the HCl found in the gastric juice. ಇದರ 3 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ 100% ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ 2 to 3 ಮಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ mention any 3 or 2 functions performed by the HCl found in the gastric juice ಅಂತ ಅವಾಗ ಏನು ಬರೀಬೇಕು HCl converts inactive pepsinogen into active pepsin inactive chlorogen into active resin HCl kills the harmful microorganisms found in the food HCl helps in loosening of the fibrous food particles HCl brings about curdling of milk inside the stomach. Take the idea. These are the functions performed by the HCl found in the gastric juice. Yes, and also you must remember the pH of gastric juice is 1 to 2.5. That is acidic agirtada. This is about composition of gastric juice. And also one more thing you should remember, the gastric juice also contains mucus. Mucus mucus now what is mucus? It is lipid in the ಒಂದು ಪದಾರ್ಥ ಲಾಳಿ ಪದಾರ್ಥ ಏನು ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಇದು see now already told you in an empty stomach what happens HCl and this protease are released ನೀವು ಖಾಲಿ ಹೊಟ್ಟೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಈ ಪ್ರೋಟೇಸ್ ಮತ್ತು HCl ರಿಲೀಸ್ ಆಗಿ ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ ಏನಾಗ್ತದ these proteases and HCl attack the mucous membrane of the stomach and digest it and this is prevented by the mucus which was secreted by the mucus cells it protects the mucous membrane of the stomach from being digested by proteases and HCl found in the gastric juice in an empty stomach. In the idea, this is the important function of the mucus. This is about composition of gastric juice. Now, the next gland is intestinal glands. Third one is intestinal glands. What do you mean by intestinal glands? These are also digestive glands which are present in small intestine. ಸಣ್ಣ ಕರಳಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಇರತಕ್ಕಂಥ digestive glands ಗಳಿಗೆ ನಾವು intestinal glands ಅಂತ ಕರೀತೀವಿ. Okay, and here now there are 2 types of intestinal glands are there. Intestinal glands ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎರಡು types ಇದೆ. ಒಂದು Krebs of liver one ಯಾವುದು Krebs of liver Krebs of liver second one is Brunner's glands ನೀವು ಯಾಕೆ ಯಾವ ಆಧಾರದ ಎರಡು ಟೈಪ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾರ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ ಓಕೆ Krebs of liver ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಇವು throughout the length of the small intestine ಹೌದಾ ಆದ್ರೆ ಡಿಯೋಡೆನದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತ್ರ ಕಂಡು ಬರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ intestinal glands ನಾವು Brunner's glands ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ Brunner's glands ಅಂದ್ರೆ these are the intestinal glands which are found only in duodenum. ಡಿಯೋಡೆನದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತ್ರ ವಿಶೇಷವಾದ ಕೆಲವೊಂದಿಷ್ಟು ಗ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಸ್ ಕಂಡು ಬರ್ತಾವ ಅವು ನಾವು Brunner's glands ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಡಿಯೋಡೆನಮ್ ಮತ್ತು ಜೆಜುನಮ್ ಮತ್ತು ಐನಮ್ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಕಡೆ ಹೇರಳವಾಗಿ ಕಂಡು ಬರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯವಾಗಿ ಕಂಡು ಬರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥ intestinal glands ಗೆ Krebs of liver ಅಂತ ಕರೀತೀವಿ. In this way, Krebs of liver means these are the intestinal glands which are present throughout the length of the small intestine. Okay, Brunner's glands is what? These are the specialized intestinal glands which are found only in duodenum. The combined secretion of these 2 types of glands is called what? Intestinal juice. Intestinal juice. The combined secretion of these 2 types of glands is known as intestinal juice. Now let us study what the intestinal juice contains. Composition of intestinal juice. Composition of intestinal juice. Intestinal juice. Composition of intestinal juice. See what actually the intestinal juice contains. Its pH is 7 to 8. Its pH is 7 to 8. And what it contains? See here, it contains water, it contains mucus. Water helps in moistening of the food. Water helps in moistening of food. Food ಅನ್ನ ವೆಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತದ, ತೇವಾಂಶವನ್ನ ಇದು ಮಾಡ್ತದ. Water helps in moistening of food. Mucus helps in lubrication. Mucus helps in lubrication. Andra, the small intestine is highly coiled, hence it is difficult for the food to move inside the small intestine. That's why this mucus makes the food to slide into the small intestine. ಈ ಮ್ಯೂಕಸ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೈತಿ, ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಇಂಟೆಸ್ಟೈನ್ ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ಕಾಯಿಲಿಂಗ್ ಆಗೈತಿ. ಹೀಗಾಗಿ ಆ ಫುಡ್ಗೆ ಮುಂದೆ ಹೋಗಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಹೀಗಾಗಿ ಈ ಮ್ಯೂಕಸ್ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಆ ಮ್ಯೂಕಸ್ ಆ ಫುಡ್ ಜಾರು ಮಾಡ್ತದೆ, ಮುಂದೆ ಹೋಗೋದು ಮಾಡ್ತದೆ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಮ್ಯೂಕಸ್ ಲುಬ್ರಿಕೇಶನ್ ಜಾರು ಮಾಡ್ತದೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಅಂಡ್ ದ intestinal juice contains what? One enzyme, that is enterokinase. Enterokinase ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? It is a non-digestive activating enzyme. It is a non-digestive ಇದು ಡೈಜೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಂಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಆಹಾರವನ್ನು ಡೈಜೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ? ನಾನ್ ಡೈಜೆಸ್ಟಿವ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವೇಟಿಂಗ್ ಎಂಜೈಮ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಕಿಣ್ವಗಳನ್ನ ಆಕ್ಟಿವೇಟ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತಿದ್ದು. ಈ ಎಂಟರೋಕಿನೇಸ್ ಒಂದು ಎಂಜೈಮ್ ಒಂದು ಕಿಣ್ವ ಇದೇನ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ? ಆಹಾರವನ್ನು ಡೈಜೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಬೇರೆ ಎಂಜೈಮ್ಗಳು ಏನಾದ್ರು ಇನ್ಆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಇದ್ರ ಅವನ್ನ ಆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಆ ಎಂಜೈಮ್ ಸಹಾಯದಿಂದ ಇದು ಫುಡ್ ಡೈಜೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈಗ ನಾ ಹೇಳಿದ್ನಲ್ಲ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, ನಾವು ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಹಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ರಿ ಹಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ರಿ ಅಂತ ಎಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ, ಬಟ್ ನಾವು ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಬರೆಯೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ನಿಮಗೆ ಬರೆಯಕ್ಕೆ ಹೌದಾ? ನಾವ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಬರೆಯೋದು ನಿಮಗೆ ಬರೆಯಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂತ ಇದೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ? ಎಂಜೈಮ್ ತಾನು ಫುಡ್ ಅನ್ನು ಡೈಜೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ, ಬೇರೆ ಎಂಜೈಮ್ಗಳು ಏನಾದ್ರು ಇನ್ಆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲ ಅವನ್ನ ಆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅವರ ಸಹಾಯದಿಂದ ಫುಡ್ ಡೈಜೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ. That is the meaning of non-digestive activating enzyme. Together, name the non-digestive activating enzyme found in the gastric juice. Enterokinase. What do you mean by enterokinase? It is a non-digestive activating enzyme found in the intestinal juice. And also, it is containing proteases. Proteases ಅನ್ನ ಪ್ರೋಟೀನ್ ಅನ್ನ ಡೈಜೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡತಕ್ಕಂತ ಎಂಜೈಮ್ಗಳು. ಹೌದಾ? Intestinal juice contains 3 proteases, 3 protein digesting enzymes. What are those? First one is aminopeptidase, and second one is tripeptidase, and third one is dipeptidase. In this way, intestinal juice contains 3 proteases. They are aminopeptidase, tripeptidase, dipeptidase. ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇವೆಲ್ಲ? They act on the proteins and convert them into simple molecules. Sorry, the aminopeptidase acts on the peptones and peptides and convert them into simple molecules. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಟ್ರೈಪೆಪ್ಟೈಡ್ಸ್ ಡೈಪೆಪ್ಟೈಡ್ಸ್ ಬರ್ತಾವೆ. ನೋಡಿಲೆ ಅಮೈನೋ ಪೆಪ್ಟೈಡೇಸ್ ಆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ ಪೆಪ್ಟೋನ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಪೆಪ್ಟೈಡ್ಸ್. ಸ್ಟಮಕ್ ಒಳಗ ಪ್ರೋಟೀನ್ ಏನಾಗಿತ್ತು, ಪೆಪ್ಟೋನ್ಸ್ ಮತ್ತು ಪೆಪ್ಟೈಡ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿತ್ತು. 4-5 ಅಮೈನೋ ಆಸಿಡ್ ಹೊಂದಿದ್ದು. ಅವು ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಟ್ರೈಪೆಪ್ಟೈಡ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ 3 ಅಮೈನೋ ಆಸಿಡ್ ಅನ್ನು ಹೊಂದಿರತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಪ್ರೋಟೀನ್ ಚೈನ್ಗೆ ಟ್ರೈಪೆಪ್ಟೈಡ್, 2 ಅಮೈನೋ ಆಸಿಡ್ ಅನ್ನು ಹೊಂದಿರತಕ್ಕಂಥ ಡೈಪೆಪ್ಟೈಡ್ ಅಂತ. ಅಮೈನೋ ಪೆಪ್ಟೈಡೇಸ್ ಪೆಪ್ಟೋನ್ಸ್ ಮತ್ತು ಪೆಪ್ಟೈಡ್ಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಟ್ರೈಪೆಪ್ಟೈಡ್ಸ್ ಡೈಪೆಪ್ಟೈಡ್ಸ್ ನ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ. ಟ್ರೈಪೆಪ್ಟೈಡೇಸ್ ಆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ ಟ್ರೈಪೆಪ್ಟೈಡ್ಸ್ and convert them into dipeptides. Dipeptidase acts on dipeptides and convert them into amino acids. In this way, these 3 types of enzymes act on proteases and peptones, tripeptides and dipeptides, and convert them into amino acids. Now, see here, 5th one is carbohydrates. Carbohydrates ಅಂದ್ರೆ carbohydrate digesting enzymes are known as carbohydrates. What are the carbohydrates? What are the carbohydrate digesting enzymes found in the intestinal juice? They are number 1 maltase, number 2 sucrase, and number 3 lactase. Nodri ase ಅಂದ್ರೆ enzyme, O's ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಡೈಸ್ಯಾಕರೈಡ್ಸ್. ಮಾಲ್ಟೋಸ್, ಸುಕ್ರೋಸ್, ಲ್ಯಾಕ್ಟೋಸ್ ಡೈಸ್ಯಾಕರೈಡ್ಗಳು. ಮಾಲ್ಟೇಸ್, ಸುಕ್ರೇಸ್, ಲ್ಯಾಕ್ಟೇಸ್ ಡೈಸ್ಯಾಕರೈಡ್ಗಳನ್ನ ಬ್ರೇಕ್ ಮಾಡತಕ್ಕಂತ ಎಂಜೈಮ್ಸ್. ಹಂಗಾರೆ carbohydrates is found in intestinal juice. ಯಾವ್ಯಾವ? maltase, sucrase, lactase. Maltase acts on maltose and converts it into 2 molecules of glucose, which are monosaccharides. ಹೌದಿಲ್ಲ? Sucrase acts on sucrose and converts them into 1 molecule of glucose and 1 molecule of fructose. Lactase acts on lactose and converts it into 1 molecule of glucose and 1 molecule of galactose. In this way, all disaccharides get converted into monosaccharides. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ maltase, sucrase, lactase ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾವ? ಡೈಸ್ಯಾಕರೈಡ್ ಆಗಿರತಕ್ಕಂತ maltose, sucrose, lactose ಅನ್ನ ಕತ್ತರಿಸಿ monosaccharide ಆಗಿ ಮಾಡ್ತಾವ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಗ್ಲೂಕೋಸ್, ಫ್ರಕ್ಟೋಸ್, ಗ್ಯಾಲಕ್ಟೋಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾವ. This is about composition of intestinal juice. This is very important. Keep in mind. In 100% ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. Name the protein digesting enzymes found in the intestinal juice. Name the proteases found in the intestinal juice. You should mention amino peptidase, tripeptidase, dipeptidase. Name the carbohydrates. ಅಥವಾ name the disaccharidases. Disaccharidases ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಡೈಸ್ಯಾಕರೈಡ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕತ್ತರಿಸತಕ್ಕಂತ ಕಿಣ್ವಗಳು. ಇದು ಕೇಳಬಹುದು. Name the disaccharidases found in the intestinal juice. Maltase, sucrase, lactase. A's ಬರಿಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಪುಸ್ತಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಿಸ್ಟೇಕ್ ಮಾಡಬಾರ್ದು. O's ಬರೆದ್ರೆ ಡೈಸ್ಯಾಕರೈಡ್ ಆಗ್ತಾವ, A's ಬರೆದ್ರೆ ಎಂಜೈಮ್. Getting the idea? And this is about composition of intestinal juice.